Hey everybody, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. I'm Erica and this is Erica's Insights. So with today's video, I am going to be talking about visiting Walt Disney World resorts and parks with somebody with a disability. So as you all may know or maybe not know, my son is autistic, so going to the parks and also at the resorts sometimes can be very complicated and very challenging for him. He also has scoliosis, and he is currently wearing a brace to sleep in at night. So today I'm going to start talking about what it's like and what opportunities there are with people with disabilities. And I say that lightly because as far as somebody with a disability, I feel there's never any restrictions for them because it's all right here. If you haven't already, there's Brooke, and she has a disability and she has an amazing YouTube channel, and she's been an encouragement for me. And I'm sure she'll be an encouragement for others. I will actually put Brooke's YouTube page in my video. Subscribe to her page, hit the bell notification, and give all her videos a thumbs up. True inspiration for anybody with a disability. I am going to start doing some more videos as far as things to do and how to do things if you do have a disability. So again, my son has autism, and in May of 2016 was his first trip. And I didn't prepare him emotionally and physically for what Disney had and, what Disney was for him. So his first trip was horrible. He hated every ride, and there was a meltdown. So I think we started off on the first ride was Pirates of the Caribbean, which for him was a 45-minute meltdown on the line just to see like the entrance. So something for me to really throw myself into, it was like, what did I do? Did I make a mistake? But I realized that the mistake wasn't taking him to Disney. It was my fault. I didn't prepare him. I could have used visuals. I could have used YouTube. So many great YouTubers do like the live streaming of the rides, or they videotape their point of view on the rides. So I feel like I could have prepared him more. So 2016 was a horrible trip because he really didn't want to go on anything. But however, he did enjoy his stay at the Pop Century, which was his first Disney trip, and we stayed at the Pop Century that time. I have been going to Disney since I was about 5, and every year up until I was 26 and 2 months pregnant with my son. When he was born, my son was born prematurely at 25 weeks. He weighed 1 pound and 12.8 ounces. So I had to put my Disney travels on hold. So Ethan is now 12. He turned 12 on Christmas, and his first trip to Disney was Mother's Day weekend of 2016, and I had a blast. I know he had fun in his own little way, but hey, it is what it is, I guess. So that's why I'm here. So that way you don't make the same mistake I did and just kind of overwhelm your children, whether they're on the autism spectrum or if they have any other special needs, whether it's ADHD, Asperger's. My son actually has PDD-NOS, so everything he likes to be like talked to, like kind of prepared basically. So I am going to help you, even maybe help some senior citizens how to get along the parks, things that I've noticed in the past, what worked for me and my family. My mom is 68, which she always comes to Disney with us. So I will be helping everybody out, giving you some tips, some feedback on what to do at the parks, what to do at the resort, what's accessible, what is not accessible. But Disney has been a great job in taking care of all the detail as far as paying attention to what anybody needs that have special needs. So if you or somebody you may know need a wheelchair, guests may bring their own wheelchairs to the parks, but there's also an option of renting them at a theme park. You can also rent them at Boardwalk Resort or from a local vendor. If you want a list of local vendors, you can reach out to me. I do work for a company called Mickey's World Travel. We help you plan your vacation, your Walt Disney World vacation, Universal, Disney Cruise, other cruise lines. So I will put my email address in the link if you need help planning your next Disney World vacation. Drop me an email and I will send you out your free quote. And also, if you just want a list of the vendors, you can also email me. So wheelchairs may be rented in theme parks for $12 a day or $10 per day with the length of stay rental, which means that if you go and you rent your wheelchair, what you would do is you would pay your entire stay, and then you would get a discount, a $2 per day discount on your wheelchair rental. If you plan on visiting the parks, I think that it would be a lot better doing the length of stay rental than to continuously rent at $12 a day. It's just a lot more convenient for everybody. So water parks, Blizzard Beach and Typhoon Lagoon, they have a small number of wheelchairs and ACVs on hand. Wheelchairs there also cost $12 per day, and ACV rents for $50 a day. And both require a $100 refundable deposit, and that would be at Sunrise near the bus stop. So if you're looking for something like that, also if you need to go to ESPN Wide World of Sports, you can also rent them for $12 a day with a $100 refundable deposit. Walt Disney World resorts have with a zero depth entry pool. You may have a small number of wheelchairs available to assist guests while they're entering the pool. So basically, the Art of Animation has that walk-in pool right there. They could help you with that. So a hot tip for you: the Disney theme park disability parking areas can be quite a long distance from the wheelchair rental areas. If you require assistance, seek out a courtesy wheelchair when you get to the park's front entrance. The courtesy chairs are easily identified by their blue flags. So any wheelchair with a blue flag is a courtesy wheelchair for you to get from the gate to where you're going to rent the wheelchair. So that's something that you could do as well. For information on other services throughout Walt Disney World resorts, you can actually call 407-824-46 4321. Again, 407-824-4321. So anybody with a disability that needs a little bit more information, feel free to call that number. There will be a cast member on hand. So like I said, my son was born prematurely, so he does have some asthma. He did used to have chronic lung disease. Just be aware that if it's too hot or you feel like your child may be going into any type of respiratory distress, first aid locations in the theme parks, water parks, as well as the resorts, they let you store your own portable medical equipment, such as your nebulizers and things to that nature, at their facilities. So if you do have any breathing conditions, you can always store those items at first aid location at any theme park, any resort, any water park. And I think that's something very important, because you never want to go on vacation with that sense like, oh no, something's going to happen. When Ethan was about 3, we had traveled to Ecuador, which is where my mother is from, and he was still on oxygen. So I brought my portable tanks with me, and I was like scared something was going to happen, but they were great. I was able to refill the oxygen tanks during the stay. I found different places. So I'm sure Disney has a lot of resources where if maybe you're on oxygen, they can refer you to whoever could supply you with that. But I think that's another hot tip, that you can always bring your portable medical equipment with you, whether it be a pulse ox or anything that you may need during your trip to Walt Disney World resorts. Also, with guests with visual disabilities, if you're going to a show, you can get a handheld device that verbally describes each park, and each requires a $25 deposit. Portable tactile maps may be borrowed from guest relations as well. And with that, of course, also will be with a refundable deposit. Braille guides also, they have Braille menus at most restaurants, and Braille maps are also available, again, at the guest relations. You can just go there and get your Braille map. For hearing disabilities, sign language interpretations are there for specific live theme park shows, and it's offered on a rotating schedule. For the schedule, you can go on to My Disney Experience or visit a Walt Disney World guest relations location. And sign language is offered for select dinner shows and special events as well. For more information on that, or for more information, you can call 407-824-4321. If I'm looking down, it's because I have like so many numbers. I have a list of numbers that can actually be of assistance for some people. And again, you can, there's just so much help now these days, because we see, unfortunately, the uprise of disabilities and necessities of people, that I really commend Disney on having such great customer care, such compassion, and that's really one of the best I want for me, for my family, is definitely that little extra pixie dust floating around. And also, I want to make sure that most park attractions are accessible to guests who are unable to get out of their wheelchair. A lot of rides, they're equipped for your wheelchair. So just make sure you kind of familiarize yourself. If you are booking a trip and you don't know where to go, there's so many organizations that are there, that are around to help you. There's the Society for Accessible Travel and Hospitality. There's Accessible Journeys. So many different things. Also, trained service animals are permitted in Disney parks. So just remember, if you have a dog and you need you have a service dog, they are welcome into Disney parks, obviously, to accommodate you. Just so much information. That's been really, it's really helpful. At the end, I'm also going to show you a book that I recommend, that if especially if you have a child on the autism spectrum, it's an amazing book. It will help you as well as your child kind of manage your Walt Disney World resort trip. So as far as going to Magic Kingdom, most Magic Kingdom shops and restaurants and many attractions are accessible to guests with wheelchairs. Additional services are available for guests with visual and hearing impairments as well. And the guide for guests with disability provides an overview of all the services that Disney has. And you can pick up one at the park entrance or at City Hall. Again, for more information, always stop by your guest relations area, and they can direct you to a lot of other places that can be of help. As far as Epcot, nearly all of Epcot's attractions, shops, and restaurants are accessible for those using a wheelchair. So there's also additional services for, yet again, visual and hearing disabilities. So also the complimentary guide for guests with disabilities is available at park entrances or at guest relations. Usually it's with where the maps are located. So that's another thing. And again, the same thing goes as far as first aid. You can still bring those items, your personal items, to the first aid, and they will store those for you at no extra charge, of course, because Disney is amazing. Again, in Disney's Hollywood Studios, most of the attractions, restaurants, shops, and shows are accessible to guests using wheelchairs. Again, there's also the visual and hearing. Oh my God, I just had on my own. Anybody with hearing and visual impairment, thank you. A little bit of pixie dust. So those are also available for the shows as well. So always look out for that. Minor medical problems can be handled at first aid. And first aid center is located next to guest relations at the park's entrance. Always remember that if you have a really serious medical emergency, alert a cast member and call 911. Obviously, I have to say that so far, knock on wood, I have not had any severe medical emergencies on any of our vacations. So that is great. So the same goes as far as Disney's Animal Kingdom. We know that if you go on the safari, there are safari cars that are accessible to those with a wheelchair. Just make sure that you also note that the terrain in the park and Animal Kingdom can be a little bit bumpy, so you just want to be careful with that. Also, the same availability is at all parks. They have those for hearing impaired and visual impaired. But the only thing with the Animal Kingdom is, like, especially like in Pandora, the world of Avatar, it's kind of has like that little bumpiness to it. So just be cautious when you're in your wheelchair and you're exploring Animal Kingdom, just because the change of terrain, it could be bumpy, it could be smooth. So just be careful for your own safety and for those around you as well. So if you're headed to Blizzard Beach, the centerpiece of Blizzard Beach is the snow-capped Mount Gushmore, as we all know, right? And it's summit plummet. Most of the runs on the slopes on this mountain, they top out at like 90 feet. So at the summit, swimmers have a choice of speed slides, flumes, and a whitewater raft, okay? And an inner tube run. So most guests can reach the top of Mount Gushmore via a chairlift. The lift actually has a gondola, and the gondola is only for guests with disabilities. So again, if you want to go on that up there, all you have to do is ask for a gondola, and they will whisk you right up there. So don't ever feel like you can't do anything. There's also tips if you're older and you like to golf. They have Walt Disney World Resort Golf. They have accommodations for single rider adaptive golf carts. And also accommodations at the clubhouse are available with guests with disabilities. So if you're going out for tea time and you have a disability, again, contact Walt Disney World Golf and they'll be able to help you with that as well. So if you can see, there's a little bit of everything for everybody. Also for dining, Sci-Fi Dine-In Theater has tables that can accommodate guests who also use wheelchairs. There aren't many, but be sure to request a table. If you already have a dining reservation, I would encourage you to call 407 WDW Dine and put a note into your dining reservation if you are going to be at the Sci-Fi Dine-In. That way they can put a note that you do need an accessible table there. So there's a lot of tables that have, a lot of restaurants that have accommodations and makes it easily accessible for those with disabilities. Also, Disney Cruise Line offers an amazing array of comfort as you're on their ships. One thing that I am going to stress, if you're somebody that has a lot of medical conditions, I would encourage you, even if you don't use it, pay a little bit of more money and just put insurance on your room, on your trip, because you never know what could happen, especially if you're going on a Disney Cruise Line. Make sure you always get that extra travel protection, because you could get sick at sea and it will cost you hundreds if not thousands of dollars to get you transported from the middle of the sea to your nearest hospital. So please be mindful if you are going on a Disney cruise and you have a serious medical condition. And again, I iterate this because as a travel agent, we have a group on Facebook, and I've seen so many things that have happened as far as somebody getting ill on the ship and then having them to be transported from the Bahamas all the way back to the U.S. via helicopter or via military plane, and that just costs you thousands and thousands of dollars. So please be mindful of that. If you are like me, I make sure that everything's very organized. If you have lots of medications but you're afraid of bringing all your medications, just bring whatever medication that you take, like that you're gonna need to take that day. If you have extras, what I do for Ethan is and also for myself, because I take like a lot of vitamins that I need during the day, but if I throw them all in a suitcase, it's going to be extremely heavy. So what I do is I ship down what I need for the week, and it just makes traveling so much more easier. I will ship down my toothpaste, my shampoos. If you have an updated room, a refurbished room at any of the Walt Disney World resorts, they now have the shampoo and the conditioner inside the shower for you, so it's a lot more convenient now. But if you're not sure, you can always call and ask if they have already started refurbishment in your room. All-Star Pop Century is completely refurbished, and the All-Stars are now being refurbished. I was down at All-Star Movies back in August, and I stayed in the Toy Story building number 10, and that was refurbished. So I did have the shampoo and the conditioner in the room, but I also like to send everything down: my soaps, my shampoos, my toothpaste. I also send down like any type of medicine, vitamins, anything and everything, because I don't mind bringing it back. It's going down that I don't want all that like heavy weight. So that's another good option as well. Just make sure you mail it to yourself and put in like your checking date on it, and I think that would be a good thing to do as well. This year's going to be a challenge because my son is officially in a nighttime brace, where he does have to wear it at night. So I'm going to see how travel goes with that. I mean, there's just so many things as far as Walt Disney World Resort goes. But I'm just going to keep giving you a lot of personal feedback on how my trips went with my son and what helped for me. Being a travel agent that specializes in Disney destinations, I have to be on top of everything and anything, refurbs, everything like that. So I am going to recommend this book. So this one also has a kids edition. So basically this is the 2019 Walt Disney World Guide. It now includes Toy Story Land. So here you are going to find, this book is only $20, okay? And it's well worth your $20. So in here it has information about where to stay, where to eat, what resorts, what everything and anything you could think about. Schedules, if you want to learn how to make your schedules, how to plan your itinerary, money saving ideas, how to do your fast passes, but all that good stuff that I could do for you for free. You like how I did that one, huh? But also at the very end they have coupons, like to Earl of Sandwiches. I know there's like a 10% off at Earl of Sandwiches. I like Earl of Sandwiches actually, and my son does too. He's already like saying that he wants to go back and have a meatball sub. So you have coupons to Basin. You have coupons to Ghirardelli. So many things. You could get a free train or carousel ride in Disney Springs. Wolfgang Puck Express. So there's over about $400 worth of savings in coupons. So this is great, especially if you golf. I know there's one in there for golfing, or even VIP tours. So many great things. So I really buy this just to kind of stay on top, because I can't remember everything of every resort. So somebody's like, oh, what resort is such and such of a restaurant? I'm like, oh my god, I forgot. Wait, hold on. So that's what I have. So if you, again, that it has been a big help, especially for me and my family. For my son, last year I did buy the children's one. In the children's one, it tells what foods are available at the parks. If your child has a sensory issue, that'll be a great thing to kind of give them. You're giving them a visual, but also maybe they don't like to eat fried chicken, but they like hamburgers or mac and cheese. You can go into that book and it'll tell you who has hamburgers and who has mac and cheese. Also, if your child is on the autism spectrum and they get like afraid really fast, what I would suggest is you skipping housekeeping. And the reason why I say this, I'm going to share a personal experience. Last year, it was thundering and lightning a lot all trip. It was in August, late August. And my mother, my cousin from overseas, and myself, we decided to show my cousin around and walk through all the All-Stars. While my husband and my son was at the pool, my son got scared because he's afraid of thundering and lightning. Instead of going into the food court, he ran to the room. And housekeeping was knocking on the door. So he started FaceTiming myself, FaceTiming my husband, freaking out. And it was like monsooning. And he was more afraid, not that it was raining and thundering. He was afraid because somebody was knocking at the door. And even though it was housekeeping, he got afraid. So you could always say no to housekeeping. I know that sometimes if you say no to housekeeping, upon check-in, they will give you a gift card, a Disney gift card, which I think is actually pretty cool. they just replenish your towels and everything like that. So that's really something to keep in mind. When you go to Disney, always go down with an open mind. There are times I don't want housekeeping. I want to take a nap, and if housekeeping hasn't come, I don't want them to come. I'll just say, hey, can you just give me fresh towels, and forget about it. So always go to Disney with an open mind. And lastly, the only tip I can give you is just have fun, you know. Have fun. It's the most magical place in the world, you know. And just forget about the disability for that whether it's a week, a few days, 2 weeks. Just go and have fun. Because it's almost like there's so much evilness in the world, and it seems like when everybody goes to Disney, it just kind of like takes you away from that. So just I encourage you, when you're in Walt Disney World, just challenge yourself and do whatever you want to do. Basically, have fun, live your life to the fullest. So I am gonna end this video here. I encourage you guys, any family that has children on the autism spectrum, or if you have MS or cerebral palsy or anything, just go to Disney and have a great time. If you don't know how to start booking your vacation, also again, email me and I'll be more than happy to sit and talk to you, or email you, or talk with you over the phone and see what would be best for your family and whatever needs you and your family may have. Also, if you like my ears, I actually have to give a shout out to my girl Danielle from Layla's Ear Shop. Made me these ears. They're super cute, super duper cute. Look at these ears. They're really cute. I like the bow. It's nice and puffy, well made. I also have some ears coming from Cargo. Cargo 619 is making me some crazy ears. Layla's Ear Shop, Danielle, she's also making me some custom ears. And I also buy ears from Suzanne from Sue the Disney Dreamer. I'm going to link everybody's Etsy shop there. Sue is a very good close friend of mine. So I like to buy ears from her as often as I can, but I like to help everybody that sells ears. Anybody that has a small Etsy shop, I like to help out. So yeah, so I will link all those Etsy shops in the description box below. I just want to thank you all for watching. Enjoy yourself, have a magical day, and like Ellen DeGeneres says, be kind to one another. Life is so precious, you know. And if you see somebody in a park and they have special needs and you feel as if they're struggling, you know what, help them. Ask them if they need help, because sometimes people are very intimidated whether or not should I ask for help. But if you don't ask, how are you going to know if you could help them? So just love one another, be kind, show the love of Christ even if you don't serve Christ, because that's one thing that this world has lost, and it's a lot of compassion, which is why I decided to do this video, give you guys a little bit of tips and information about conquering Disney World with special needs. So thank you guys for watching, and again, have a magical day, night, afternoon, whatever time of day you're watching. And also, don't forget to subscribe. Please give me a thumbs up. If you want, give me a thumbs down. I really don't care. And also hit the bell notification. I do comment back, so if you would like to comment below or you have any questions, please do so, and I will get back to you as soon as I can. So thank you guys for watching. Have an amazing, amazing day. So if you haven't already, since I'm a travel